Forgot. I forgot to turn on my mic. I'm tired today. Let's get to it. Yeah, so here we go. This is where we're at. Wow, look at that. It's Pong. Pretty much. Implemented in like the jankest way possible. But seems pretty good to me. Seems pretty good to me. Turn off visible collision shapes. Let's start making another example. So that's Pong. That's not really like what we want to use, but we can totally use it. Let's make like just like a clicker. Like a clicker. So Pong is completely self-contained. Everything, it should be everything, but we'll get around to, well, because it's the everything example, we should actually try to do more stuff on that. And I've had this theme just playing in my head over and over again, but I'm not sure where it came from. So this is scene name 2. Probably scene path. Probably. So relative scene path. So everything needs to be relative to the context path. Well, actually, no. It could be. I guess we'll try. So if it's detected to be an absolute path. Yeah, if it's detected to be an absolute path. Then we'll use the context path, but you can also just insert an absolute path as well. But that's almost always going to be a little dicey. Or actually, what we could do is make it so it's a variant. So it could be a string, in which case it would be a path, or it could be, yeah, so this will be a string, or it'll be a packed scene. So it's hard to say what it will be. But I think that's okay, since I'm already doing a lot of inference anyways. So let's see, for everything here, let's generate some packed scenes, why don't we? So for everything, there's the GUI. GUI is the context, so this will be like the, I don't know. Let's change the default one to everything text scene. Don't save anything in Pong. Let's change this to a label. So we'll just call this count up. You can probably guess what it does. It counts up. How did you know? So I'll have a count up. This will be passed via pack scene. Maybe just absolute path. It doesn't really matter since pathing doesn't matter. Well, we'll pass this via pack scene. Alright, so count up. This one's really easy. So this will be text is equal to string delta, and that's pretty much it. Very, very simple class. That's all it does. It just counts up. So for this, we can pass in, or let's make it so you don't have to do like direct property access. We can do it like add or this is like register scene. And so this will be thing. That's fine. It'll return an int, so that'll be the error code. So return OK by default. And then there's a few errors that we could possibly return. I guess for this one, we'll just try to use the built-in errors, but maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe I should actually be doing this. And by this, I mean, Gdml. None of these are Gdml, huh? So it's like invalid. Invalid registered scene. So we can do if type of thing is not type string and thing and not thing is pack scene. Yeah, so any of these are invalid. Well, I don't know actually. I think that's probably okay, right? No, it needs to be a pack scene because otherwise I'm not sure how I would handle an object. Yeah. So this needs to be something that I can instance or load from an instance. So either load or just call instance on it. Invalid registered scene. Otherwise, oh, and then we need to register it with its name. So this is the thing name. And then the thing, which will be duck typed. So if I had it my way, we would use function overloading, but things don't always go your way. So register scene. So let's do a basic check. Actually, no, there will be no basic check. We'll just overwrite and then push a warning if it already exists. Scenes already contains so it's not an error, it's just a warning. Because generally you don't want to do that, but because of how I want this to be structured, it should be error resilient. So it will try its best to work, even if it really shouldn't. Okay, I think that's probably fine. That's probably fine. Or what we could also do, registered scenes. So in generate, what do I do with the registered scenes? I pass it to you, right, in the generator. And the generator really should be split up as well, but there's not too much I can do about that, besides just add more and more comments. Oh, and I feel like generate here. This piece of the syntax is kind of bizarre as well. Yeah, I feel like I don't actually want to create a control like this. I should just, let me see. Well, I suppose it's fine. It doesn't matter. I suppose it's fine. At least doing it this way and then adding the script to it afterwards allows me to just bail out quickly, just in case things failed. But I don't know, this feels a bit extraneous. So, in generate, registered scenes. I don't use any registered scenes. But I probably should. Let me see. Where do I want to handle this? And also register scene. Let's go ahead and type out a doc string for it. Why don't we? I wish there was a way to like automatically generate documentation, like a doc page, like read the doc style, based off this. That might be a fun project, but well, I said fun project. It might be a painful project, but considering that I mostly just write software, it's about as expected. Registers a scene to be used during generation. So params. I mean, this one's more or less self-explanatory as well. To be used any tags that match this name. Tags will be matched against this name thing, which is some sort of variant, right? Variant can be either a string, path, relative or absolute, or a packed scene. So the return code, give me 1 sec. So I'm very low energy today. I spent a very, very long time yesterday working on this, mostly because I didn't really have anything else to do, but so it goes. So the error code. Okay, so handle attributes. Probably not. Godot class name from tag. It's not really a Godot class name, but it's just a class name, I suppose. Oh, and then I'm actually already handling it here as well. Registered scenes. So here in everything, as long as I register counts up, and then I should also create a... That's a bit tough actually, because it's not really a relative path to a scene. Hello, Needle Mouse. Hello, hello. How are you? How are you enjoying Endeavor OS? Tell me all about it. Did it exceed your expectations? Register scene. So we'll call this needs to be known as counts up, and then we'll just pass in a absolute path, I suppose. I actually made a few mistakes, as is to be expected for any like first time install of anything. It happens to the best of us. That's why I had to wipe my one of my Linux computers, because I totally borked the kernel patch. So it was just running like two different kernels, kinda, not really. Like the other one kind of like halfway initialized, or the kernel patch halfway initialized every time I booted up the computer. And the patch was to add Android support. So like, it was kind of there, but it was also absolutely killing performance. DEs, I thought Budgie would be the same as Manjaro with the drop down menu when you right click. Manjaro, I don't think you ever, did you try Manjaro? I thought you were on KDE on Linux Mint. But all DEs are more or less the same. I guess GNOME is a bit different. When I used iThread Android, I didn't know how to close a window. Isn't it? It's super Q. You typed Manjaro. That's why I mentioned Manjaro. Reading comprehension skills, 10 out of 10. Step to me, better be on your A game. Windows key, Shift Q. Yeah, that sounds correct. Yeah. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it's super. So if you're using a Windows keyboard, it'd be super is generally your Windows key, although it's not always your Windows key. It might be your alternate, your left alt key. Very possible as well. Have you tried left alt Shift Q? Sometimes your super key gets messed up for whatever reason. Alright, you should try it. I know on some installs it sets it improperly. I don't know why. It just happens sometimes. Try it after my Endeavor reinstalls. Nice. Why do you need to reinstall Endeavor? Did you mess up like one of the partitions or what? You don't need to reinstall an OS if you want to change the desktop. You can just change your boot args. And then it'll just load into the new desktop. Or if you're using a managed distribution, one that gives you like a fancy login screen. So I know Ubuntu does, Pop! OS does. You can just select which desktop you want to boot into. Unknown scene or tag. Really? Or does this not get passed? Init. Wait a minute. So when you create a Gdml, I don't... No, that should work because it creates it in line, right? Yeah. I didn't know how to go back to the default interface to using the live user. Reinstalled. It's pretty easy. So, I mean, it's good to know because this is one of the things I also don't just remember how to do. Hold on. The streamer I am watching at the same time as I just kind of randomly program is just screaming into their mic. So let's let's switch it. God, I hate it when people just yell into their mic. This is the... Why do this? Do people think it's like entertaining? Maybe some people do. I suppose like people do it because people will continue to watch. Too late. Well, it's good to know in the future though. So it's like ArchWiki is usually pretty good. So ArchWiki change DE desktop environment. Look at that. Using a different window manager. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Change DE without format. I don't know what that means. Installation guide? I don't know. Just Linux change DE. I do enjoy i3. Then you might enjoy i3 gaps. Yeah. Oh, okay. I remember. So if you're using one of the managed distributions, it's going to be tough. Never mind. Endeavor OS might not have that. Yeah, because these ones are usually pretty easy since they provide their own meta packages. That's just a lot of Googling though. I'm going to try and make Endeavor OS my main OS. You're not going to use my favorite one? Let me see if I can find it. There's VirtualBox. I just put Debian on everything since I'm basic. Where's Debian? It opened itself on my top screen. Fantastic. Yeah, there's Grub. Look at that. Switching Debian. Debian is very basic. It doesn't have very many modern packages, so if you want modern stuff, you need to compile it yourself, which is great. I love it. Please don't hack me, but my name and password is TimTim. Oh no. It's also very big since it opened up on my top monitor. Look at that. How do you open a terminal? Oh, it's just right here. Neat. Do I have this configured? So Control-Alt-T, yes, my favorite one. Look at that, it's beautiful. Just run everything in a virtual machine, easy. Just use XFCE. New PC in the future if I get money or get a college loan. Someone said, don't get a college, don't take out loans to buy things. Computers depreciates super quickly. You know what does not depreciate super duper quickly? Your education. A low end PC? Yeah, I know, yeah. I also had a low end PC when I was in college. Like I was using an Acer, a Chromebook, like C11. Yeah, one of these like super crappy ones. No, this is a projector. 11-inch Chromebook. What was it? It's one of these. It did not have a Celeron on though. It had like an i3. Got a lot, and that's it. I'm gonna get a whole dang piece. I don't want to go in debt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I got through like most of my programming classes using a Chromebook, so and also made good use of the university monitors and all that. So like should you take out a loan to get a new computer? No, that's a trap. You might have also heard that you can take out loans, like take out as many loans, take out as much debt as you want, and then declare bankruptcy. That is also not a good idea. Don't do that. You can't just declare bankruptcy. Because generally what that means is that you also have to give up everything you own. You get audited, etc., etc. You gotta think at least one step ahead in the future. It might be a weird idea. Tag name. Oh, it's not tag name. It's Godot class name. Huh. Or I suppose what I could do... No. This should be using the name that we tried to look for. I think that makes more sense. So we go about high-end laptop and not get anything else, and that's what I'll do when I get a debit card of my own. Go debt about a day, normal words. That's not how a debit card works, by the way. So if you have a debit card, you are drawing directly from your bank accounts. So if you overdraw, which means that you withdraw more money that you have in your accounts, you will be able to take out that money, but then your bank will usually charge you an overdraft fee. So usually it's like 30 bucks or something, unless you overdraft like a ton, right? What people mean when they say like go into debt, they mean like a credit card, right? So a credit card, you don't actually need to pay off every single month, although you totally should. That's also something I don't understand, is why people like get credit cards and then not pay it off. It's not a free loan. You have to pay interest. But yeah, that's what people mean when they say like max out your credit cards, is because you don't need to actually pay off your credit card every single month. So I know like a lot of people who go into debt, and what are you doing? Just pay off your credit card, you animal. Or like do like I did and just survive off of like $10 a month. Just ate rice and beans. Didn't buy like anything. Freaking scrounged around in like the lost and found for like just free stuff. It's like there's a lot of ways that you can do. There's a lot of things that you can do to avoid debt. So like once you go into debt, you lose everything. Then you need to like debase yourself anyways. So I don't understand. So unless you have like an urgent need for something, you know, like, oh, like I crashed my car and whatever, then sure, I get it. But it's like, if you don't need to go into debt, there's tons of ways around it. They all involve debasing yourself though, but that's okay. It's better to debase yourself for a little bit than have to debase yourself for a while. Get him done. Oh, thank you, Schmelly Orc. I don't know how I feel about that that name, but thank you. I also trust myself with a credit card. Wait, I think I forgot my phone at school. That is unfortunate, isn't it? It's okay. Most people can't be trusted with a credit card, so you don't have to worry about that. If scene is string, then we'll want to check to see if it is a absolute or relative path. So if scene is, so that's a string. I don't know what the methods are as string. Let me see my backpack. Pro tip: never mention like school. If you want to like hide your age on the internet, anytime anyone ever like mentions school, I'm like, oh man, they must be young. Oh, to be young again. Actually, I strongly dislike my earlier years, although I do know like a fair amount of people who want to go back to like high school or earlier. Why can't, please give me is relative, please. Okay, is relative path, where is it? Is absolute as relative. So if it's a relative path, then we'll build it from the context path. So yeah, using my phone to watch the stream. Oh, good job. Proud of you. Keep it up, slugger. If scene is absolute path. If it's an absolute path, then we'll just load it wholesale. If it's a relative path, then we need to do some fancy stuff. lf scene is packed scene, and object is equal to scene instance. It's happened to me before for sure. It's like the glasses thing that you always kind of hear people talk about. And it's like, where are my glasses? Oh, I'm wearing them. I don't wear glasses, but that's how I imagine it works. I'm lucky enough that I still have better than 20/20 in my left eye. I think my right eye is, what is it? What is it called when you can only read things like close to you? You're nearsighted. It's equal to, what is load return? So this is a context path plus your relative path. So I have a context path somewhere. Is it underscore context path? Underscore context path. I don't know about my OS. My main OS from now, I'm using Pacman commands. I'm nearsighted. Very good. So that means you can only see things near to you, right? I always feel kind of weird having to ask that, but it's like I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm not afflicted with that kind of problem. It's weird though, because the rest of my family has like eye issues. It's always kind of made me think. Because I know that, like, I have two brothers. I know my younger brother and myself were mistakes. It's kind of like a insensitive way of putting it. It's kind of an insensitive way of putting it. But like, my little brother, terrible eyes. My dad, terrible eyes. Older brother, terrible eyes. My mom, okay eyes. Still needs glasses though to read. Me, just fantastic eyes. Or fantastic eye. Like I'm also right-eyed, which is unfortunate because my right eye is slightly nearsighted, but like I still have really good vision, I guess. So I'm like, I don't know. If the entire family is like this, and even like my extended family also has bad eyesight, it's like, I don't know. I'm not saying I may or may not be a bastard, but I'm also saying there's a non-zero chance. Yeah. Never needed to wear glasses. I do sometimes wear sunglasses on occasion, but they always make my eyes hurt. Ears are also still very good, despite having gone through college, and thus having like spent a lot of time in bars and clubs and whatever. Like I still have like most of my higher range of hearing and like a lot of lower range of hearing as well. More than most people. Mostly because I guess I don't like listen to music in headphones a lot, but also like I don't know. Hard to say. This is also hard to say because I'm not sure whether or not these methods exist. Because I need to check to see if this is a packed scene or not after I load it. So if scene or loaded scene. Oh, for both of these I actually need to do that. So we'll do var loaded scene. Oh, I guess by the way, I haven't actually showed off what I'm working on. So what I'm working on is this. Check this out. So this is all generated at runtime. So this is what I was showing off in my Discord. Let me see if I can find it. Pong, 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 XML. Everything is just laid out via XML file. Everything is written in line. How cool. So it does not use the Godot scene tree at all. It's also kind of jank, but that's fine. Turn off VirtualBox. So this is the actual scene tree as done in the editor. Ignore that. And then here's what it actually gives me after it's done parsing, is it just gives me everything, dumps everything into the Gdml node. I should make it like a, I guess like a, an option to, I guess, deconstruct in a way the children. So I place them all at the same depth. Oh, we'll think about it. We'll think about it. Basically just reparent all the children so that you don't have a total reliance on the Gdml node. That's fine. That's what I'm doing. So what I'm doing, well, that was what I was doing yesterday. Submitted a Reddit post, tried to stir up some interest in the project. Instead had someone very rude be like, you know, congratulations on re-implementing a failed concept. And I was like, wow, that's extremely rude. And then they, you know, then ended up, you know, listing things that already exist. I guess like a lot of people are against XML. You know, if you've ever programmed like or done any Java programming, especially before the years of Gradle, you know, probably have bad memories of having to deal with, you know, just super wonky POM files, etc., etc. So I get it. But on the other hand, you know, just saying that something is bad without ever giving it a chance, you know, if there was one sign of a bad programmer, that's probably it. You know, give it a try first, and then you can say it's bad. Because for a lot of programming environments, especially nowadays, it's pretty easy to just set up a new environment, especially if you're running Linux, right? Because that's what Docker is really nice for. So if loaded scene is null, then we'll just return null. Then I guess we'll need to do the same match against loaded scene. So we'll need to see if it's a packed scene. If it's not a packed scene, I'm not sure. I'm not sure actually what it's supposed to be then. Oh, did I disconnect? I didn't drop any frames. I don't know. I guess that's fine. I saw that my OBS chat refreshed. Welcome to the chat room. That doesn't make any sense. Let's see, loaded scene. So what am I checking for? I need to check to see if it's a packed scene or what else could it be? There's a few things that I guess it could be. I can guarantee at least for registered scenes, it'll only ever be a string or a packed scene. Because I do a check here. So it must be a string packed scene. Otherwise, I just return an error for you. Which is why this is easy. Here, we can check to see if it is a... if loaded scene, or I suppose if it's not valid. Oh, okay. I think I got it. So I need to check the file type, right? I need to check the file type. So if the file type is like a .textScene, TSCN, or a .scn, that's a packed scene. So I can make a few assumptions. If it is a .xml, then it's another Gdml file that I need to try to parse, but I won't handle that just yet. Although that's kind of an interesting idea, right? So I could register to other XML classes just like that in the generator. That could be cool. That could be cool. It feels like that's something that should be handled in an attribute, but I guess because of how flexible it is, there's a lot of corner cases. Maybe I don't want to handle that case, but I don't know. We'll think about it. If scene is string, let's do this first. So we'll match against the file extension. We'll match against the file extension. So let's create some enums, I guess, just for handle elements. So we'll just gonna do them all in line. It's kind of jank. Actually, no, we won't. So this will be called file type. No. Yes. No. This is element file type. Yes. I love it. Okay. So none as always. And then let me see. So this is packed scene. That's a pretty good one. There could be Gdml, which is either a .gdml file or a .xml. If you pass in an invalid .xml file, that's not my problem. Oh, and then also just GD scripts. Yeah, so the three things, there's packed scene, GD script, and Gdml. Otherwise, I'm not sure how to load it in. Yeah. Element file type, so them handle elements. So var element file type is equal to elements file type none. So if we still have none at the very end, then that's an error. As I've done many times before. I do prefer this pattern. Which is to say, like a default fall through type, just in case. Get extension. So this get extension, yeah. So match scene get extension. So we're checking for text scene, regular scene. I don't know how text scenes will work, but I guess it's okay. I guess it's okay. And then I need to check it to see if it's a relative path or absolute path. Let's put these into the constants as well. Yeah, let's do this. Handlers, and then we'll have just the basics. So it's constant text scene. It's text scene, constant scene. So for these, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's just for consistency, because what was really nice about this, these used to just be called script with no Gdml, but because I use the constants everywhere, I just need to change the constant in this one file, and then it updates everywhere else. Except, I guess, for like the errors, but that's fine. Const GD script. .gd const Gdml. Yeah, there's Gdml already, so we'll create it and then comment it out because it already exists, and then XML. constants text scene, constants scene. So elements file type is equal to element file type hey pack scene. Because you can treat those the same way, it doesn't matter. GD script, this will be elements file type. GD script. Gdml or XML. Yeah, I'll treat these the same way, which is why I grouped them together. And then otherwise, that's an error. Return null. So this is push error. Unrecognized file type. So, or file type for file scene. Okay. And so based off of this, then I need to I'm thinking. Because I still need to load the scene in. I only need this for like afterwards when I am instancing stuff. So this is okay. Relative, whatever. So then there's our loaded scene, right? Actually, that's not true. It is 100% not true. Jeez. Yeah, okay. Because I can't guarantee that load will load this in. So if I try to load in a .xml file, this will fail. Okay. So let's try doing file path, some sort of string, right? And so if it's a relative path, actually, we can just do this all in one thing, right? Scene, if scene is absolute path, else one of these. That's okay. Can't infer it, that's fine. Okay, so file path is scene if the scene is an absolute path. Otherwise, we try to construct a path using the context and the scene. And so now, maybe we don't even need this enum then? If we just do it like this. So construct the file path, and then based off of the extension, this one's pretty easy, right? This will just be loaded scene is equal to just load in the file path. Or actually what we can do is just try a direct load and then we'll call instance on it. That's fine. Do not care. This one is object load file path, and if it's just a .gd file, we can call new on it. If it fails, that's not my problem. And then for this one, it's a bit tough. I'll need to think about it, right? Because we'll want to spin up another call. I guess we'll just need to call generate again. Maybe. That's kind of tough because I don't have. I need to go through the entire process again if I want to do this. To load in an XML file inside of the current XML file. Because right now, there's three main parts, right? There's Gdml, which is just the main entry points. So you have your generate function, register scenes, whatever. Then you have your parser, which reads the files. A nice explanation here. And then after it's done reading the file, it'll pass the resulting, like basically like a node stack. Actually, no, that's not true. It'll pass the layouts to the generator, and then the generator reads the layouts and then generates every single element. Yeah. Okay, so if I want to do, if I want to pass in like another Gdml thingy to the same Gdml file, so it's nested Gdmls. Like on the plus side, it's tail call optimized, so I don't have to worry too much about stack size. But I need to think about this. I guess what we could do is just run Gdml again. It's kind of weird. It's definitely like really weird, for sure. So this is our Gdml thing, and then you can just call it on itself. That's fine, I think. So var Gdml is equal to Gdml new, and then this requires a context path, doesn't it? Yeah. So we'll just pass in the current context path. And then, okay, so what does everything do? Everything does, we register the scenes, but we don't want to register any scenes from here. That doesn't make any sense. But then we'll call object is equal to Gdml generate, what was it, file path. That is so bizarre. Oh, but then the context path is actually incorrect as well. Doesn't the generate function just checks, yeah, it just checks to see if it's a relative or absolute path. Yeah, so I don't actually need to pass in a path, I suppose. And yeah, and actually, you don't even need to pass in a context path here. You only need it if you're using relative paths, which you should, but you don't have to. I think that's okay. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, for sure. Oh, hello, Nova. Hello, hello. How are you today? I suppose I should show off what I did yesterday. Check this out. Ah! Can't preload it. Parser error. Cannot preload resource. This is true. It is a cyclic reference. Ah, what a pain. Hold on. Give me one sec. I've slightly broken things. Not this. So to do this seems like a weird corner case. All right, but check this out. Boom. So, look, it's Pong, it's jank. That's fine, because there's no collision on the walls or the paddles, because these are just area 2Ds, mostly because it was easier for me to program. But the more interesting part is, one, it reacts to callbacks. Two, you can see from the scene tree here on the left that there is no nodes, or there are no nodes in the scene tree. This is the attached script. You always need the entry points, but that's okay. But if we look at this, the actual scene tree as it's deployed, we have generated a Gdml node. This Gdml node has some instances. It looks like script 0 is a null instance, but that's okay. I can guarantee it still exists. Then we have our paddles, we have our ball, wall. I guess we have bottom wall twice, which is kind of weird. That might be a bug. And then if we go to the XML file, I mean, there it is. Look at that. And you also don't need to, you know, write all your scripts like this, which will 100% break formatting, at least in VS Code. So now, this was a little bit of kind of complex regex to find out what the spacing was. But here we are. So you can hide your scripts. XML, Gdml. Yeah, it's I'm calling it Gdml, although it also is just used for CERN. Geometry Description Markup Language, but that's okay. We are in different fields. I guess if CERN wants to come after me, they're free to, and I will change the name. But yeah, so you can write inline scripts. You can also, so these are set as temporary scripts. So these are only used as, I don't know if I want temporary, if I want temp to stand for temporary or template. But either way, these are not instance. These are just used as scripts, and then I can apply these to nodes elsewhere. So you can see that I have two area 2Ds. This is the left paddle, right paddle. You can set properties using just somewhat close to Godot syntax. You cannot pass in a vector 2 because I'm not sure how to parse that, although I could definitely add that if needed. Because I'm already using like type inference, so I just check to see what this value is supposed to be, and then I just cast the value. Or you can manually cast it like here, so I can specify, you know, color name, white, or you can just use color and then pass in the hex code. Yeah, and then here's the Gdml source. I support both the shorthand and the long form. So this looks into the upper scope, the super scope, if you will, and looks for a script by the name of paddle. If it doesn't exist, the program will not crash. It will just try to figure stuff out for you in a very JavaScript-esque way. So yeah, so there's Gdml style, Gdml props. Gdml props is just an alias of Gdml style, since style attributes in Godot are just properties. But it's if you want to stay more of a like a CSS purist or HTML purist kind of style. Although you do need to always prepend things with Gdml, so it's namespaced. But yeah. So it's pretty much like exactly what you would expect from like HTML though. And then it's also basically the scene tree as well. So for the ball, you can see that here there's a label attached to it, or at least a label set as a child of rigid body 2D with the name ball. This is a rigid body 2D with the name ball. There's our label with an auto-generated name. Rect position is slightly higher. I guess I can't show that because the ball is currently gone, but we can always rerun it. Oh, don't rerun it like this. Oh geez, I'm in the wrong window. Yeah, so there's the label. It's beautiful. It's not censored. That's fine. Mostly because I didn't censor the text, but also because it's not actually a parented, or it's not a child of a control node, so there's no way to really censor it. There's a visibility notifier on it. It's beautiful. And then there's just an inline script as well. So anything that is, any scripts that are defined under a node are just applied to the parent node. Yeah. So I think it's kind of a cool system. It's kind of a cool system. I don't know. That's pretty much it. I was very proud of it. Not too many people on like the Discord or pretty much anywhere else were very impressed with it though. Probably because it uses like, I advertise it as using XML, and then also the file ending also uses XML. You know, I get it. You know, people have a bias against XML, etc., etc. Where it's like, why would you want to do layouts in XML as opposed to doing things in the editor. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe if you're more comfortable doing it in XML or whatever. Or if you want to load things at runtime, but then you have to answer questions as like, why do you want to load things at runtime? I'm like, yeah. I have a very specific use case. Where I want things to be plug-in oriented. I think something that's cool about this though is if you want to have user generated content, right? You can modify the parser to disallow certain tags. You can modify the script handler because I do parse every single script. So there are just like certain things that you can disallow as well. So you can just block it and be like, nah, this is not allowed. Like the idea you had of being able to submit entries for a game jam or something, like you could upload them. Yeah. So there's just I guess the web build, I suppose. And so you can use Godot's drag and drop API, which I believe is on scene tree, maybe. Yeah, files dropped. Yeah. So using this API, you would probably upload a zip file. Is there a way to unzip things in Godot? Unzip. Zip. Compression. I don't know. Is there a way to unzip things in Godot? Do I have more than one window open? Godot unzip file. Unzipping files at runtime. Okay, yeah, there's a method on the file class. Oh, baby. Oh, but it can only read files that were saved by Godot. That's good. That might not work. Transparent gzip compression. Nope. I suppose it can't be... I guess you can't drop a zip file. You just need to drop like the regular folder. And then what I would do is I read that, see that it's a folder, and then just run through everything in that folder, I guess. I'll think about it. But right now what I'm trying to do is... What was I trying to do? Yeah, handle like custom scenes. So right now, if you want to... Where everything that you do has to use built-in Godot nodes. So I'm trying to add in support for just custom nodes that you need to register with Gdml first before parsing. So the idea is that I'll have something like this. So a node called counts up. Guess what it does? It's a label that just prints the delta time. I suppose it's not actually counting up, huh? That's not actually counting up. Let's do var value is equal to 0. That's fine. And we'll do value plus equals delta. One of those. All right, now it's actually counting up. So here, I think this is okay. Then there's your object. Yeah. This one's the only one that seems kind of weird. So we grab the file path. No, I don't need this anymore either. Then I match against the extension. So if the registered custom node is a text scene or just a pack scene, then we'll just load it and then instance it. If it's a GDScript file, we'll call new. If it's an XML file or .gdml, I don't have any files that use the .gdml format, but you know, it's just a file extension. It doesn't actually change how things are parsed or how things are stored in the file. Yeah, so if it is an XML file, have to load it like this, otherwise it creates a cyclic dependency. I pass in the same context path, and then we generate based off of the file path, which may or may not be a relative path, which is why we need the context path. And then we store it in objects. Otherwise, if it's a pack scene, then we just instance it, which is really easy. But for some reason, this wasn't working when I was trying it, because this doesn't exist. Right. Yeah, it looks good, I guess. I mean, it's kind of jank. It's there, though. I can see it. It's there. I can see it for sure. And then we can do Gdml props. What is it called on a label? It's rect position x. This syntax I'm really not a fan of, because it's accessing the position by index, but I don't have a way to pass in a vector to at this point in time. Mostly because it kind of requires some complex parsing, because there's like multiple layers of parentheses, I suppose. But for now, this is fine. I guess we can do -100 and just see if that makes a difference. No. I can see it here, right? So it's in count up. Rect position. Can I set this at -100? I guess it doesn't change anything because it's bound by its... Yeah, it's bound by the VBox, so I can't actually change the position of it. It's weird how the... Oh, it's the other nodes. So this one is displaying on top of it. Oh, I see. That's fine, though. We can move this somewhere else. So we can put this at... I don't know, just here. That's fine. Rect position 100. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. It's just that easy. All right, so that's an example of passing in a text scene via, I think this is a relative, I think this is an absolute path. I'm not sure. I guess we'll check. I guess we'll check. What is the file path? The file path is an absolute path. Okay, cool. So good to know. Resource paths are absolute paths. But if I did something like this, so I could do so pass in a relative path like that. Would this still work? Oh my god, it totally works. It's beautiful. It just works. Of course, it is formatted kind of weirdly because it is relative to the containing VBox, or the containing control, not the VBox. Let's add in a script here. So we'll call this, I don't know, counts backwards. So this will just be a label script. Counts backwards. You could probably guess what this one does. Look at that. And we'll just count backwards. So then in everything.gd, let's undo this. Let's keep the relative path, or let's keep the absolute path, but then we can also do this. This is count backwards.gd, and then this is, I guess it's just a file name. If it's just a file name, does that mean it's a relative path? Hey, it's a G. Oh, actually, it tried to load it in properly. So the file path was GUI counts backwards. Hey, null instance on a null instance. So I should probably do a null check as well. Let me see. So is this not valid? So this is C users these dev Gdml examples everything GUI count backwards. That is a valid script, I think. Or you're not allowed to load GD scripts at runtime. Is that not how that works? GD scripts are resources. So if I look at resource loader, hey, resource loader, you can load it. Don't know. Don't know. I feel like that should have worked though. And also I need to do this in several parts. So load file path. So if packed scene is null or packed scene, if packed scene is not a packed scene, return null. Yeah. Let's try to make this null safe, since all this does is just add a bit more loading time, but that's fine. For portability, this is okay. I think a nice improvement in the future would be to rewrite this in Rust or something. It's kind of cool though. Push error. Oh, hello, Bumdy. Hello, hello. 1 second. I am currently breaking stuff, but let me unbreak it really quickly. Let me see. So this is unable to load file at path. File path. If pack scene not is pack scene, push error. Unexpected object found at path whatever. So this is string pack scene. It's not actually a pack scene because it's unexpected, and then file path. Yeah. Oh, thank you very much for redeeming a hydrates. I have started drinking too early. I've only eaten Oreos today. Like an absolute degenerate. Alright, there we go. There's about 300 milliliters. How often do you clean your water bottle, by the way? If you use a reusable water bottle. I guess I do realize that not everyone uses a reusable water bottle. I've been using the same water bottle for, how old was I in middle school? I'm in my almost late 20s now. Not quite. In that case, don't do it. Don't do it. Sounds like I should finish my drink before you force me to drink more water. Although I suppose my drink is not too deep, I suppose. Mostly just water, since it just had a big thing of ice. Got a cooldown on. Yeah, I do have a cooldown on it. All right, but check this out, Bumdy. Since you were not here. Ah, okay, hold on. Let's do Pong. Pong definitely works. Check this out. So this is Pong. Look at that. Defined entirely in Gdml. It's beautiful. Totally bombed on Reddit when I posted it. I was very sad. I thought people would be more interested in it, especially because I had visuals, but maybe not. But look at that. So everything's hooked up. There's just a random label attached to it. It has a signal. Ball is gone. I don't do any state tracking, but it's not too hard to do that. Colliders are kind of weird because I don't actually use real colliders. I'm just using area 2Ds. It doesn't reflect to Godoers. Godotters. Godoers. Yeah. That is plenty interesting. Oh, thank you, thank you. Please praise me more, senpai. My face when no anime grill to call me or to tell me. What is it? Otsukare-sama deshita. There we go. Otsukare. Yeah. Not pronounced with that tone, of course, but. Alright, but check this out. So. Oh, hello. Hello, Rogue Nation Studio. I hope your job is going well. But this is, you know, it's entirely defined. This Pong game is entirely defined using XML, so. So what I'm doing right now is adding the ability to add in custom nodes. So you need to register them ahead of time so that they can be, you know, inserted. So count up works. It works using, well, it's a pack scene, so it's easy to load in, load out. I think loading GD script files is going to be a bit more complicated, and past that, loading in other Gdml/XML files is also going to be very complicated as well. But for now, it's okay. Had runny nose for days, so manager let me to work from home today. Nice. Nice. Gotta love a work from home. I guess, I don't know. my job has always been work from home, not to flex or anything. So it's one of those things where I kind of can't relate, unfortunately. Or actually, it's like my current job has completely ruined me in terms of working like a normal person. So you can do class styles. Yeah, that's work to be done. Class, what do you mean class styles? So there's always been styles, but it generates a theme. Oh, are you talking about this Gdml style that you can see here? So Gdml style, well, I suppose Gdml props is just an alias of Gdml style, but I suppose it's the other way around, right? Because styles in Godot, so anchor stuff is actually just a property. So Gdml props, that's a property. So I can set the rect position, I can set the anchor, whatever. They go back into the client's offices now that the pandemic is on the downturn. Oof, feels bad, man. No, my company only puts me on, because I'm not a real consultant, I suppose. I'm more of a corporate professional services. So I'm really only put on the bad projects, but that's because I don't know, I kind of request the bad projects. So it's not time and materials, it's fixed price. Fixed price. It means property style, but in bulked in style classes. Oh, so you mean something like oh, it's something like a XAML, right? A XAML, one of these. So this is actually brought to my attention. Yeah, I didn't realize. I didn't think about it before, but this makes a lot of sense that you could do something like this, I suppose. So here's like a XAML button. This is, I believe this is only for, yeah, Windows Forms, something like that. So like if I had a button and then you could do like background, something like that, and then pass in a text field, or I don't know. Solid color brush doesn't really exist in Godot, but I suppose like we could just have like super ultra nested tags if you want to dig down via dot syntax, dot notation. That could work. That could work. I don't have support for that yet, but I saw this and I was like, that's actually possibly a better way of doing, you know, properties and styles, as opposed to whatever the heck this is. Or whatever the heck this is here. Which is, you know, just a semicolon separated property setting, which isn't too bad still. Because either way, you know, I'll need to do like type inference or some fancy parsing on my side. You didn't miss much. Uncomfy office chairs doing a number of my coccyx. Essential AC is the that you can't change. I feel that. I feel that. For the few times I was in client offices, the chairs were horrible. That's why I got into like standing desks though, because whenever they had a standing desk, I'm in. I like standing desks. I'm currently using a standing desk, which is why sometimes you'll see me kind of like shift like this, because I'm recentering myself on my desk. But yeah, so this is where we're at. I've already linked the GitHub, so I'm not going to do that again. I need to think about how to load in a GD script though. Example is unintuitive. I mean, look at the CSS button class. I was looking at wherever the heck this was. I mean, this looks okay. I don't know. Right, like, so this one has like, this is how I'm doing it actually. This is how I'm doing it. Where's our little dudes? Oh, is it not, did something break? It might have broken. That's fine. Can I don't think I can reset like this. Oh, it's totally broken. I guess something got disconnected. Give me one sec. This happens a lot. All right, turn off the shader. Where are properties? Does this still work? Is it like ultra broken? No, we're back. I use a bed desk, lay horizontal. You know, I've seen a lot of, I've heard a lot of people do that as well, but I can't imagine like just laying down all day. That's also probably because like when I sleep on my, I either, you know, completely spread eagle on my back, completely flat, no pillow, or I suppose I go into a fetal position. Yeah. Make it work at properties. So my code already works at properties, kind of. You do need to do it via the style property or the property. Because otherwise, everything else is just parsed as a callback, which is that's the intent, right? Because otherwise, I'm not sure how to do callbacks. Right, how else would you write a callback without doing this? I suppose this is the main test, right? Is how would you do properties alongside callbacks like this? Because your callbacks can get pretty complicated. Show me my CSS button class. This is my CSS button class. So I can do, I think in CSS, this is how you define custom variables, and that's what this library does. I think I need to modify the library so it just uses regular Godot syntax. Property style classes in there. What do you mean property style classes? I don't quite understand. Because I can do property style classes like this using the Gdml style. So there's anchor left, anchor right, whatever, right? I think that's pretty good, I think. I don't know. That's how I write my HTML. I'm not sure what else I could really do besides like just regular CSS like this, which I do have support for. All right, let's see. For the GD script stuff, I need to load in. I need to read it via this. So var file. So we'll do file, if file, open, file path, file read is not okay. Then we'll just return null. Push error. File path not found for GD scripts. Oh, you know, somewhat recently, or not somewhat recently, it was like yesterday. We're just tuning into random streamers while I was working on this offline. Or I guess not live. Accidentally totally spoiled myself on pretty much all of Elden Ring. Because I was in the zone, I didn't realize like they were super far ahead of me. They just went back for a little bit. I thought they were pretty early in the game. Turns out they weren't. I was like, oh, I guess that's the final boss, huh? I haven't got that far yet. Oh. Spoilers. I have no one to blame but myself, though. Alright, so there's your file. Then we'll do... We'll load in a GD script inline. GD script... Oh, actually, no, we won't. I forget you saw it either way till you get there. Maybe. Like, I also got spoiled pretty early on by, like, pretty much everyone on the internet complaining about, the hardest boss in Souls history. I was like, alright, that's fine. And then I watched someone do it at, was it level 1? No armor. I was like, alright, that's also pretty sick. That's also pretty sick. The hardest boss in the game, but also totally doable. With no armor at soul level 1. Interesting. If you know the strats. So let's see, var script is equal to gd script new, and then we'll do script source code is equal to file get as text, and then we need to check this. So script reload. So if script reload is not okay, push error. Invalid script for whatever the heck this file path is. Return null. Otherwise, we'll come back here. Script, we'll just call script new on this. Yeah, there we go. So let's run it. Please work. Maybe. Run into a few errors. File path not found for GD scripts. Count backwards. And then it also just kind of nuked everything else, which is kind of cool. And by kind of cool, I mean like absolutely not cool at all. Or no, this is count up, which doesn't matter. You know a YouTube channel called Jomatech? Some of you don't know. Never heard of Jomatech? 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 I feel like I might have seen this before. Yeah, I feel like I've seen some of their videos before, but mostly as like meme videos. What is their most popular video? Oh yeah, I've seen a few of them. Don't look at my don't look at my subscriptions. Yeah. American Psycho one. Write review code. That's pretty good. This one, I remember watching these. Yeah. Oh no, I feel personally attacked in the American Psycho one. This one is very good. I would recommend this one because that's how I feel about mechanical keyboards. Mostly because like they're kind of wrong about most of the mechanical keyboards they're talking about, which I think is part of the joke. Because I think they're like, for the entire video, they're talking about a happy hacking keyboard, I think. And so they keep talking about the switches, but happy hacking keyboards don't use mechanical switches. They use rubber domes. Or they use topre, which is a mix of mechanical and... I think it's just a fancy rubber dome, isn't it? Whereas these switches, ooh. Alright, file path not found for count backwards. Is this not true? Did I not add this? Oh, this is for count up. I accidentally overrode it. I'm dumb. Count down. Or count backwards. So we can run this. Yeah, so this still runs. That's good. Topre is better than mechanical though, that I heard. I have a Topre keyboard. I just don't really use it. I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. It depends on how you... I think if you use non-clicky but tactile keyboards, you'll like Topre a lot. I think the biggest problem with Topre keyboards for me is that you can't like easily remap the keyboard layout unless you use something fancy like auto hotkey or something, right? Because to bring up my keyboard again, right? to bring up the keyboard that I use once it loads in. On pretty much every single keyboard I use, and I also switch between like a lot of OSs, so I don't always have auto hotkey, or I can't depend on it. I like having WASD mapped to this function key. So this function key turns WASD into arrow keys. So I actually have two pairs of arrow keys on my keyboard. The regular arrow keys, or I guess in this case it's Vim style arrow keys, and then WASD. So generally if I need to make like one or two small cursor increments, I'll use WASD. If I need to actually, you know, big boy mode, move across many things, I'll use the Vim style ones. You can't easily remap it on a Topre. Or at least the ones that I was using. Gdml props. This one should be counting backwards if you did not read it. if you did not read the file name. Yeah, I actually wanted to buy another one, but drop is actually out of these tiny ones. Because I realized I don't really use... Or I like the feel of this linear switch. The more that I like type, the more I'm like, man, these linear switches are kind of sick. Because I have a Stack Overflow macro pad. Yeah, as you could tell, I do buy a lot of things on drop. I have one of these, and this one comes with linear switches. I think these come with Cherry MX Blacks that I have set up to do the logo C is Control C, logo V is Control V. But otherwise, I just use it for reading manga. Where this is left, this is right. V logo is down, VC is up. Yeah, it's pretty sick. You can't buy it anymore though, so it's now a collector's piece. Let the bidding start at 1 Bitcoin. It's pretty cool though. It's very, very niche unless you have like, I guess like a very specific use for it. I think like a bigger macro pad, like I think an 8-key macro pad would actually be pretty sick. 3 keys is just not enough. But I guess if you just want to read manga, it's not bad. Anyways, check it out. Okay, didn't find count backwards. It only found count up. File path not found for GD script count backwards. Really? So this is everything GUI count backwards GD. So it wasn't able to find that. File path not found. Does this not exist? Please. So this is... Copy the path and we'll just paste it in here. Is that not it? So it's in examples, everything, GUI, counts backwards. Oh, I spelled it wrong. I'm an actual idiot. That's not how you spell backwards. Backwards. Oh, thank you for redeeming a hydrates, Nova, once again, making sure that's the blood alcohol content in my blood does not get too high. Also proceeded to dribble on myself once again. Because I'm trying to chug it. Let's see. So I think this should work now, mostly because I have spelled it correctly this time. So backwards, backwards. Okay, good. All right, cool. Look, it works. Now, the only thing after this is to add the other XML file. So just to see if we're able to add in multiple XML files. Devs watered, yeah. What's that webcomic called? It's like, you know, drink water, get enough sun. Hold on, let's steal content off screen. Where are the comics? Poorly drawn lines. Yeah, poorly drawn lines. Houseplant. I think about this comic a lot. I don't know why though. No, this is not it. Where is it? I've seen it before. This is the comic. This is the prince. But where's the comic? It's okay. One of these. I don't know. It's like, it's not really funny, but it's like, maybe that's how I know I'm getting really old. This is like one of the things that your grandma would like forward to you. Even though my grandma doesn't know how to use the email. The email. Doesn't know how to use email. One of these. I'm a big fan of this. Yeah, buy a Prince. Big fan of their comics. They still make new ones. Drink water, get sunlight. Back when I actually had to work in an office, I had like a few comics, like a few safe for work comic sites just on my thing. So every day I get into the office, grab some like really terrible coffee, sit down at my desk, read comics for like half an hour until daily stand-up. Go back to my desk, proceed to like do nothing for most of the day because I'm blocked. But I have to be in the office anyways. Which, you know, that's pretty much my day-to-day anyways, except like I don't have to go to the office. Not to brag or anything. Like today, I've still been like extraordinarily blocked, right? Because like a current project, we have to work on a mainframe, but like I don't have mainframe access. I'm like, I've just complained every single day, like I don't have mainframe access, and they're like, all right, we'll get it for you. It's been 2 weeks. Oh yeah, all right. I guess I'll just let other people do the work. I'll be the moral support. So what am I gonna call this? This is going to be like text.xml. So this should still technically be valid, I think. So we can do canvas layer. Canvas layer. Canvas layer. What am I doing here? Canvas layer, Gdml, props. How do you do this? Layer -1. Canvas layer. Let's do sensor container. So it's a sensor container. It's not very complicated at all. Sensor container. Add a label inside of that. I think what would be kind of cool would also be like HTML mode. So I try my best to try to parse HTML. That sounds very complicated though. I think there's a lot of things that would, you know, it's pretty easy to parse from HTML back into here. So like labels, that would just be your p tag. Pretty much everything is just a p tag, and then after that, then it's just canvas layers, and then figuring out whether or not you want something to be parsed as an HBox container or a VBox container. So we'll think about that. I'll think about that. So other text label. Look at that. So here's our other text. This will be loaded in, or I guess registered manually, but I think it should also be possible to just refer to the file and then try to load it in from the context. So text XML. So this will be text XML, I suppose. Then here, I guess we can just slap it in wherever. It doesn't really matter. Let's put it, I don't know, right next to these. What did I call it? Text XML? Text XML? This seems like it's gonna break. Oh baby, it totally worked. Not, kinda worked. It generated stuff appropriately. It didn't really get a correct name. I don't know, Gdml name is equal to text XML, I suppose. Just so I can see what it looks like. Yeah, so there's text XML, but then it didn't really apply itself correctly. What happened? Or is it because of the sensor container is just completely borked? Oh, it's probably because of the sensor container. Okay, so we go here, sensor container. This is where things start to get kind of cool. So Gdml style. I could also use Gdml props, but whatever. So anchor, anchor, full rect, which is shorthand. This isn't actually an actual property, but this is one of the special fields. Yeah, there we go. That's cool. It works. It works. So you can pass in a text scene using an absolute path. You can pass in just a regular script using a relative path. And you can pass in another XML file. So it's nested XML files, kind of. And then it just works. Look at that. That's really cool. At least I think it's really cool. And then all the other script stuff just works as well. Button script doesn't do anything, but that's fine. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I'm impressed with myself. So the last thing is I need to handle source. Those are 3 Gdml separate instances. It's two separate instances. So, well, it's because I nest the Gdml instances inside of each other as well. So I think in this one, every single, there are actually 3 buttons layered on top of each other. So there are 3 inner buttons all on top of each other. Then there's the global Gdml instance, right? That will always exist for every single Gdml instance. So for example, this text XML is just a global Gdml instance for this one. I'm thinking of having some sort of flag that says like don't use the global instance. Instead, just kind of move everything, pretend like it doesn't exist. So you could have basically just an array of things just placed into a scene instead of having the Gdml handler. One root, two childs. It's one root with two childs, and then the first child has another child. Plus, I think all of these... Oh, actually, no, these aren't... Oh, hold on. This looks like a bug. Oh... Wait. I think these got borked. Yeah, these got borked. But maybe it's because... I don't know. Did something get messed up with the formatting here? It's possible. It's possible, I'm not sure. Something went wrong here. I'm not sure what. But from the scene tree hierarchy that you can see in the XML file, it should be Gdml contains a Gdml contains a Gdml, or it's Gdml contains a button and another Gdml, and that Gdml contains a button and another Gdml, and that Gdml contains a button. But that's not actually what happened. But they do have just the random script instance attached to them. But they kind of got deconstructed, so it might have something to do with... I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Something happened with the depth counting and it got super messed up. Yeah, so this is still a bug. I need to figure this out. But other than that, yeah. There's the global instance with two child Gdml instances. Then the first child Gdml instance has this external one, text.xml, which pulls its data from text.xml here. Right? And then it also has three Gdml instances that should be nested, but they're not actually nested right now. I'm not sure why. And then that's what this inner button is. So the inner button are the nested ones. This other text is also a nested one, but it's contained in another file. I believe margin test is the second child. Everything else is the first child. So it's capable of very complex layouts for whatever reason. Yeah. I need to figure this out, though. Yeah, my drink is empty, though. I'm very sad. Not as strong as I would have liked it, because I've started using ice again. So BRB. Hooray for having my office be in my living room. And having my living room just be right next to my kitchen. Ooh. So let's see. Let's see. Hold on, I'm checking some things on the side. How is it? How is what? Checking some things on the side. Don't mind me. I'm just checking my Reddit post. My karma. I desire points in all things. Alright, I'm back. Nothing to report on the Reddit side. Very sad. What is Hub 16? That's a keyboard. Oh, actually, no, there is a thing. Viva Volt. Oh, baby. See, this person? This is what I want to also add into the rendering as well. I talked about this before. also, I see this. This looks cool. 16 keys. That's a good amount of keys. And 2 rotary encoders. Very nice. I do not respect the inverted spacebar. I know why people use the inverted spacebar, but I also do not hit spacebar with my thumbs. So it looks cool though. I don't know too much about keyboards though, or like hardware. What is the license? CERN? Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. I'm not familiar with it. It's configured with VIA. Okay, is it QMK? I only have a experience at QMK. 4 rotary inputs. What would you use 4 rotary inputs for? What? I barely even know what I would use like 1 rotary input for. Like I thought it'd be cool. Like I think 2 rotary inputs if you want to like put them, or you want to map them to like your arrow keys. I think that could be kind of cool. 3 is volume. 1 is big and near my thumb finger. 3 is volume. I don't know. What I want on one of these macro pads is that to have the little the ThinkPad nipple, the nub. What we can call it, a ThinkPad nipple. Like give me something like the Magic Trackpad. Give me something like this, but with like a ThinkPad thing, and then also like attached to like a macro pad. Then I'd be into it. That would be sick. It's basically like a worse trackball. I would be into that. Right, because I don't know, like I'm fairly ambidextrous on my left hand, especially if I don't need to move my hand at all. Yeah, like you can buy a trackpad for parts, or you can just scrap a keyboard that has a trackpad thingy attached to it as well. Or not scrap it, but you know, salvage it. Yeah, because what I want is I want to be able to use move the mouse just using my left hand. Because sometimes, you know, I'm doing things here, but then I want to be able to, yeah, still move my mouse. Why? I don't know. I have very specific needs. It's not a weird need, because now I'm thinking about like the other possible uses. And it's not lewd. It's not lewd at all. It's not Apple trackpad or high quality laptop trackpad. Nah, I like the ThinkPad nub. I like how it, I don't know, like I'm okay at using it. I think especially if I'm only using it for like small adjustments, I'm pretty good at it. Big fan. Like Apple trackpad would be really good, but it takes up too much space, right? There's also the space thing, because, you know, remember that I use one of these tiny keyboards. I use a plank. So I like how my keyboard does not take up any space. Yeah, the ThinkPad nub, right? The nub, the nipple, ThinkPad nub. I want one of these. I was actually looking at mods for putting that thing into my current keyboard. I would be into that as well. I've seen mods for planks actually. So like if you're willing to like drill into your PCB and like kind of like file off your keycaps, you could also make that work. But I have very little confidence in my hardware modding ability. My hands are a bit too shaky. All right, but what was I doing? I was trying to figure out this. So why these don't actually get parsed correctly. Because that's probably the last thing I need to do. Let's give this an upvote, an update. Let's just respond live on stream, definitely. Thanks, and definitely. Yeah, PC input devices are like 30 years behind on tech. Yeah. I feel like Apple's the only one who's doing like cool stuff nowadays, which is very strange. Yeah. Same keyboard, same mouse. Yeah, yeah. Even like Apple keyboards are kind of weird. It's only like like mechanical keyboards if you're doing like stuff via QMK or VIA. That's like the new stuff. And then like Apple trackpads, it's cannot be beat. I was planning it out was similar to how does it work in Go? Because that's the only way. It's like the templating system in Go works. Oh geez. What did I do? Give me markdown mode. So like labeled. So this is actually what I'm thinking about. Conditional rendering as well. For example, analog stick on my keyboard and knob slide, maybe ink screens non-exists. Oh, you know, talking about ink screens, I'm getting really distracted now. But I did give this a star. Look at this. Look at this. Give this a look. It's not like something useful. It looks cool though. It's not touchscreen enabled at all, but seemed like a cool beginner project, and it's easy to modify because it's all Python. Oh baby. Just uses a Raspberry Pi 3 to connect to the internet and pull stuff. All right, but this is the syntax that I'm thinking about, by the way. So this would be like so if sum var equals true, conditionally rendered, if it can text to speech over PDF, it's already useful. Text to speech over PDF. You know how hard it is to render PDF? I remember I had to do that one time, and then I just gave up. I was like, I can't do this, I'm sorry. Like, take me off the project. Templating thanks indefinitely. The way I was finding, I was similar to how the templating system in Golang works. The hard part is having to parse this opens up, or this would open up possibilities for, I don't know, completely generated UIs or completely procedural. Oh baby. Let's think. Let's think. So why doesn't this render correctly? Am I missing something here? So I am inserting a bunch of, I guess, empty references, which is fine. Maybe if statement if. Nah, I think that's not great. Just using inline tags. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Because then it's harder to parse out where the, I guess, the logic is, right? Like doing like if some variable, and this needs to be injected before parsing. So like if, you know, render nested, and then it needs to be very verbose because it's very basic parsing logic, right? And then, so it's similar to how a shell script might work, actually. I think it's harder to pick out where the conditionals are if you just use tags, right? Like I want it to be obvious. Like if you're doing like conditionals or just having any conditions at all, anything that is in the pre-parse step, you need to use a different syntax. So I suppose like what I could do is take out one of these things, right? So then it's just like this. So when you're scanning over it, you know, I guess your eyes get caught on the style tag, but you can just close that, be like, nah, I don't want the style tag. But then your eyes kind of glaze over this, and like, oh, okay. If render nested is true, then we'll take all of these tags. Otherwise, we'll just kind of delete them. Take out everything that's in between these tags. Actually, why does the Golang template example using Go templates? I had to use this in my last project. Yeah, so Golang templates always use two curly brackets. I don't remember why though. Yeah. See, like this is how Golang does it, by the way. This is what I was kind of inspired by, if you couldn't tell. So I was thinking with this. This syntax has always struck me as being kind of weird. But yeah, so you do like some sort of like very basic whatever. You can insert variables, and then you need to have an explicit end tag. Most of the HTML inlines use... Oh, really? Is that just how it works? Like you need to do double curly bracket? Okay. I thought that was just how Golang does it. Is that how Django does templating as well? Django template. If. Is that how that works? No. Oh, but Django does... Ooh. Django's kind of weird, actually. Yeah, I remember Django just using one curly bracket, but I guess they have something else. I guess this is actually parsed, right? But then they have the double curly brackets here, which I don't quite understand. What's the difference between single... Oh, this is auto... This is a... no. I don't really get it, but sure. I guess Django is also pretty... I like Django. Big fan, big fan. Bracket means scripts. Other one is like template. Oh, okay. So other one is like, so the bracket is like an actual thing that should be parsed. Where the other one is more of just like a templates preprocessor directive. Kind of like that. Okay. But isn't this is like injected, and then this is also being injected? I don't... Huh? Aren't these all being injected, and then this is like... That sounds confusing. I'm gonna do it the Golang way. I like how Golang does it. It feels like it's inconsistent, and I'm getting confused. Like Golang, if you want to access a variable, you just need to do like dot something, right? That's pretty easy. Whereas this one, it seems like this is like if you are accessing logic, I guess. But this one is accessing variable, I guess. But you're still setting the class? I don't really get it. But yeah, that's the idea, but I'm not going to do it just yet. But yeah, if I am going to do it, it's going to be double brackets because that's just how everyone else does it. And that's how Golang does it. I haven't checked how Rust does it though. I'm not sure if Rust even does like templating like that. Is there a popular Rust templating library? Rust template library. Top 3 top. Why does LogRocket do so many Rust things, by the way? I see them a lot. Okay, so they also use double. No, maybe. Possibly. You can also use built-in var, I assume. Nah. Yeah. So there's Terra. Okay, so expressions, statements, comments. What's the difference between a statement and an expression? Expression needs to be evaluated while a statement is just a single thing, I think. No. What's the difference between a statement and an expression? I actually don't know. Statements versus expression programming. Programming language terminology and expression is a combination of values and functions that are combined and interpreted by the compiler to create a new value, as opposed to a statement, which is a standalone unit of execution, doesn't return anything. Really? Oh, okay. GUI specific logic. Okay. Sure. Like for loops or maps. I guess. You can do it like this one, I suppose. I think it still seems kind of confusing. I'll think about it. We'll think about it after I fix this. I need to fix this first, and then we'll get on to pre-processing. Pre-processing, I guess there's no post-process step, maybe. I don't know. I guess the post-process step is just like destroying all the temporary or templates scripts. Still don't know what I'm going to call them. There's from native code, but works only in GUI parse. Well, luckily I'm doing a bunch of GUI parsing here, so that's fine. I need to figure out this though. This seems tough. Let's do a separate example, which is like nested Gdml. Nested Gdml. This will be canvas layer. Oh. Nested Gdml. Because I do need a test scene for this because this is pretty tough. Alright, so everything, we'll just grab this Gdml thing. So examples, this is not everything. We'll just grab, we'll set the context path as nested Gdml. Then add child Gdml generate nested.xml, something like that. Or we can actually, I'm just gonna do it as XML. Everything can just be XML. All right, so nested Gdml. Let's do nested.xml. You know what? Let's do Gdml just because. Really freak it out. And then this needs to be parsed as XML. That's fine. So this needs to be Gdml, and then we'll just nest it multiple times. So what I would expect to happen, well, let's put a VBox inside of it as well. So VBox container. VBox container. So I'll grab this and then just copy and paste several times. It doesn't really matter what the depth is. The depth is mostly just for like my own reading comprehension. Although actually, because of how Godot's XML parser works as well, these empty spaces are actually interpreted as a text node. I guess that's valid because you could just have like a single line XML file that has many nodes, basically like minified XML. It's kind of weird. So let's do label. Oh, and actually I can do single line labels like this, right? And then we can do Gdml prop or style, it doesn't matter. They're both interpreted the same way. So text is equal to inner. Or I guess this is, we'll just call this level 1. This will be level 2. And then this one will be linear, level 3. All right, so give this a try. Let's just test on this one. Something is wrong with how nested Gdml things are created. Okay, so we ran into multiple errors. Error handling connection. Gdml, oh, it's Gdml props. Prop. Sorry. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Did they get nested correctly? They did get nested correctly. Eh? So here it works. That's what I would expect to happen, right? Is that when you nest multiple Gdml elements, they all get nested inside of each other? Let's see. Margin top 10. Margin left 10. So there's just a little bit of margin, but I think that looks good. That's weird. That's weird. So this works on this example, but on the everything example, it kind of messes up. Head up and get ready for game dev times. The rest of your game dev times are fun. I think I'm feeling a lot better about this now that it's actually working, but thanks for hanging out, Nova. Hope your stream goes well, and take it easy. Just a lot of debugging though, unfortunately. Because I need to figure out why these are not nesting correctly. Like good little Matryoshka gels. Because they nest properly. Oh, wait. This closes on this one, probably, maybe? Am I missing a close tag? I might be missing a close tag. What if I go back to, did I already change it? I did already change it. That's fine. Let's see, nested Gdml. XML. So if I have just a hanging reference like this, does this break it? Doesn't appear to. This is okay, and then this should have just kind of like a bogus reference associated with it. Okay. Is it? I'm thinking. There's a few areas where this could go wrong. But maybe it's a problem with this XML file. So when I process everything, do I ever get bad hanging tags? It's possible. Let me see. So we stop here, and we can take a look at the hanging open indices. So I also do pre-sort them as well. I have 62 nodes. That's good. Lots of hanging nodes. Open close stack. There are 10 things. Count up and count backwards are hanging. Text XML is also hanging. None of the Gdml tags are hanging though. I remember this is one of the harder bugs to catch, right? Is that because of how I actually counted like the hanging open nodes, they were actually out of order. So I didn't realize. But like if I was inserting things like out of order, it would mess up the rest of the orders. So I would have like just bad tags, which led to like very, very complicated, very hard to find, you know, stuff. Hard to find errors. But I figured it out. Let me see if I can find it. So there's 63 nodes. That's good. It's probably near the end. If I had to guess, so let's count backwards. 0, or no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. What is 63 minus 12? 51. 51? Is this 51? Let's call this 51 for now. Oh geez. Oh geez. Oh geez. Oh geez. That's 51. Let's remember it as 51. So that's roughly 51, might be 52. This is a Gdml close tag. That's an open tag. So it should be close, close, close. And that's the reference, which is close, close, close reference. Yeah, so that's parsed correctly. So it's sorry. I breathed in and then just tried to swallow at the same time. I don't know, maybe layout verify, we can check. So it's at about 51. We'll need to find the layout again though. So the layout, Gdml script tags, there are many of them, but this is pretty easy to find because they're at 37, 41, 45, which makes sense. Although this doesn't look right, but whatever. 37. That should be for location 37, so I need to look for the location now. It's 48, 37. Oh, jeez. 38, that's an inner button. Depth 3. What was it? 24. So 41, depth 3. Wait a minute. $1,400 is 41. 41. Depth 3. Is this depth 3? So this is depth 1. So the first one, depth 1. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 4. Yeah, that's the correct depth. Maybe it's just not being... No, this logic is correct. The depth is correct. But how they're parented is incorrect. So let's go back to the generator. And it's probably in the stack now that I'm thinking about it. So the stack keeps track of all the temp instances, and these are kept in line with the Gdml locations. That needs to be refactored, by the way. But we will handle that when we need to handle it. You know, as always, stuff is tough. Stuff is tough. Let me see. Give me one sec. Add child. Add child. So it's one of these things. It's whenever we hit like add Gdml, something is breaking. So give me this. Skip past the first one. So this is just the Gdml. Then the second one, skip past that one. Then Gdml locations, we have 3. We step into add child. So this tag is Gdml at depth 3, which makes sense because we should be at 1, 2, 3. And this should be at location 41. Maybe. Give me another run through. I need to check the tag again. So location 2, that checks out. 37, 41, 45, and then like 50 something. Yeah, okay. Run me again. So skip. This one is where they start to break because this one should be added onto the last Gdml tag according to this parsing logic, right? Because it's at the same depth as this button, right? It's at the same depth as the last button. So what's the last thing on the stack? It should be a button. That's not true. The button didn't get added to the stack, huh? Huh. The button didn't get added to the stack, so it looks like it actually did not. Or maybe that's okay, I don't know. Send me. So the current depth is 3. The last depth was 3. Oh, but the button's not on the stack. Why isn't the button on the stack? Why isn't the button on the stack? Okay, so I see the problem now is that the button's not on the stack, as I've mentioned over and over again. But why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Something doesn't seem right here. So because the button's not on the stack. So yeah, so we pop off the last one. Which makes sense, but the button's not here. What happened to the button? Ah, what happened to the button? So we pop once, yeah. Send me. All right, now we look at this. Let's look at the layouts. So tags, page. Is it 140 or is it 139? That's the reference. 38. That's the button. All right. What's 130? 136 should be the Gdml tag, which means if we go back to the stack. All right, hold on. Send me again. Boom. Then we'll just need the step multiple times. Boom. Boom. This tag should be the first Gdml one. Yeah. So return error. That's okay. Inner error. Step into generates. So this tag should be... Yeah, it's the inner button. So I want to see what happens here. So handle elements, and then we want to add it to the stack. Yeah. So step into here. Create script name, that's fine. Okay. So add child. The depth is greater than the current depth, which means we should just push it, right? Is that not what happens? So depth is greater than. Depth is greater than. Yeah. Don't pop anything, please. So we add the child. We push it onto the stack. Yeah. There's our button. Yeah, that looks good. What? Step in. So this is our Gdml tag. There's our, no, that's our oh, it's our reference. That might be it. Is that if you have a reference tag after an actual just regular like node tag, it might push it off the stack. That's possible, yeah. Oh, you know what? That's almost certainly it. That's almost certainly it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's because the reference is at the same level. I see. It's because here, button, it gets pushed onto the stack, right? And then it's there. Then the reference, it tries to push it onto the stack. So it checks the depth of the reference, which is fair. But then it starts pushing things off the stack, which would be valid if this was something that could actually be pushed onto the stack. But you can't, right? References don't exist on the stack, which means, well, maybe the reference should exist on the stack, and then depending on the type of the node, we can still push it onto the stack. Maybe I've just been approaching this incorrectly. So if it's not a node, then whatever. But otherwise, we always want to try to push it onto the stack. Maybe, gotta think. What does the reference tag do? It does nothing. It's just an instance that kind of just exists. It's mostly just to demonstrate that you can do it. There's no, I'm not really sure why you would want to do that, honestly. It could, I guess that the reference here is that like you could load in an external script. You could load in an external script and then just attach it to the whatever the parent tag is. It's kind of weird. It'll work though. So add instance. Yeah. But yeah, it's mostly just to demonstrate that it works. Like there's not a lot of reason to do it, but you totally can do it. Isn't that what the script attribute does anyway? Yeah, so there's a lot of ways that you can do things. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, for sure. I'm thinking that this should just be pushed onto the stack. Yeah, like I guess this should just be pushed onto the stack so we can push it back off. Yeah, so no matter what, we always push it onto the stack. Even though like it's sometimes it's not valid, I guess I'm already handling it. Yeah, I think I always handle it, so it doesn't matter. We can always just push it. So here, push the object onto the stack no matter what. It's just what we do afterwards with it that changes, I think. This might be a bit worrying though. Ooh. Look at the amount of errors. Potential infinite recursion. That's not even me though. Interesting. So that one change, really? Is it the one change? Can't add child to itself. That makes sense. Can't add child to itself. So stack. I guess you don't always want to push it immediately. Hold on. Wasn't there an order to this? Oh, it's always afterwards. Hold on. Undo me. Yes, that makes sense. We always want to push it afterwards. And I... Okay, hold on. Push it here. Take out these returns. Hold on to an error code here. So var error. Reference of anything. Yeah, I'm just making it so it's flexible. It's flexible. Ah. Non-existent function. Add child in base GD scripts. Yeah, that makes sense. Because the last thing on the stack is probably, yeah, it's just a GD script. So that's kind of tough. What's the current tag? Oh, it's add Gdml. Wait, what? So add child, add child. That's not true though. Ooh. So add Gdml, add child. We'll call add child. Add child takes a tag. That's a Gdml. So the object is yeah, it's a Gdml. What's the thing on the stack? Oh, the previous thing on the stack was a script. So we should have pushed it off. Wait a minute. Previous thing was a script. This tag is Gdml. It didn't get pushed off, even though I should have. Really? Really? All right, send me. Boom, boom. So the depths should be. Wait. What happened? Why is the depth all kinds of messed up? Did the first one not even have a depth? So this one should be the first script. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, I never set the depth for some of these. Oh, I see. I see. So for any of the add child calls, I always set the depth. Okay, so add child sets the new depth. But I guess I should just set the depth no matter what as well. So maybe on push, or maybe we'll just do it here, right? We'll just do it here. So we'll take out this call from add child, so that just makes it easier to read. Okay. seems a bit better, but although we do have a few errors. Missing on stack, and we're also unable to find some of the arguments as well. Which means that some of our instances are kind of messed up. The stack hierarchy looks correct though. So instances. Yeah, I mean the stack hierarchy looks correct. That's 100% true. But we weren't able to connect anymore because the depth handling algorithm is different. So any of these clicks are bad. Although they don't throw errors for whatever reason. I think. The script's more or less still processed though. That's weird. Alright, send me. So this is built-in script test var find instance. We check inside each Gdml node. So Gdml locations is only 2 Gdmls. The location is so 0 is a Gdml node, but then it should be 1 as well. So wherever I am adding the Gdml location, I need to modify that. Where is it? Or is this now just regular stack size? So if I do this, I'm starting to lose confidence. All right, it appears to be good. Pong, please still work. Oh baby, it still works. Is the logic better? It's hard to say, man. Everything still seems to work. I'm getting nervous. Does this still work? Yeah, no errors. We run everything, yeah. All the connections still work. It looks like this also has a weird theme applied to it though, question mark. Because this used to just be like regular red, but now it's completely white. So this Gdml style should only be applied to... Oh, is the node hierarchy all kinds of messed up now? No, but this does have a theme attached to it, I think. Yeah, that's margin test, but why is it white? So the font color should be the only thing that changed. See, that's one of the things that's kind of concerning, is that now things are changing and it's not working how I thought it would work. Let's see if we can try to narrow stuff down. I should probably start writing tests at some point. So it's here. This is the only style tag. So we check the stack top. What is the stack top? The stack top. Oh, it checks the top of the stack. Oh. But wait, this is depth 3? That doesn't make any sense. This is 1, 2. 2. Okay. No, this is depth 2. Yeah. What am I talking about? But then the previous thing on the stack. So I need to get the thing under the stack top. Under top. Oh, I remember yesterday I was struggling with this. I added an under top and then realized that maybe I don't need an under top, but now I do actually need an under top. So this is, we'll call this under top, which returns an object. So if stack size is less than 2, then we'll want to push a error. Why not? Push error less than 2 items on the stack. using stack root. Otherwise, we'll return stack -2. So then this style should apply to the... That's kind of tough. That's kind of tough. Oh, you know what? This needs to go through the same stack logic. I don't need an undertop. I don't need an undertop. What am I doing? I don't need an undertop. I just need to go through. I just need to apply the style tag to the stack again. So it'll apply itself. Yeah. So everything needs to interact with the stack. I for whatever reason, I just keep trying to avoid using it. Okay. So here, we do need to pop something from the stack, but that's completely dependent on a few things. Let me think. I need to think. So I know what happened is that what happened is it parsed the style, but because we don't ever interact with the stack, this Gdml script is still on the stack. So when we get the stack top, we check to see, okay, is the script a control? No, because it's a GD script. Therefore, we then get the stack root and then apply the theme to that. And the stack root is just the global Gdml node. What I need to do is do stack like apply child almost. I need to, yeah, basically I need to do like stack add child, and then that will apply the theme, essentially. I gotta think about that though. That's tough. So add child, or it's like apply theme. Maybe just like add child. So then we'll still go through all of this logic, which is good. I think this is definitely in need of a refactor, I think. So class is node. You know, lf param is, or type of param is, that's tough. I gotta think. That's tough. I'm thinking. This code became too complex. Well, I think that's it's a necessary evil, right? Because that's just how it goes, right? I think I've got add child, the public add child and private add child. I got that backwards. I think a lot of this logic should probably be pushed somewhere else. So there's like add to stack. What I should do is actually have like an add to stack function, right? That handles this logic, right? Because this is the most important part, which is like stack manipulation based off of the depth, and then the rest should be handled elsewhere. Yeah, so maybe I can do like what am I doing to the stack? I am Normalize stack based off of the depth. Yeah. And then we'll do all of this stuff. And I realize some of this code is actually bad as well. So if pop is equal to null, then we'll return this stuff. Else, return okay. So we'll normalize the stack based off of the depth. So we grab all of these, blah, blah. Normalize stack based off of this depth. Right, I think that's okay. And then we can do, so there's normalize stack and then finalize stack as well. So finalize stack. So this requires an object and a depth, or we'll just do depth, which is an integer, and then object, which is, it's not actually true. Param defaults to null. No, it actually has to be an object, 100%. Finalize stack. There's nothing really to do besides like pushing things onto it and whatnot. So we'll grab these two things. So push, and then we set the depth as well. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but we can take this out. Finalize stack. So this takes the depth and the object. Yeah. So there's add child, and we can do add style. So as long as we still have the tag, then we can do, this will be some sort of theme which inherits from objects, returns an integer. So we'll do var error. It will mimic add child pretty heavily. And we'll do the same stuff, right? So depth is an integer tag depth. So we'll try to normalize the stack. So there's normalize stack, and then we want to finalize stack. So depth, theme. So we'll push the theme onto the stack anyways, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense to do so. So just so that our stack management is still okay. Yeah, okay. And then because of this, then we can do we'll just grab the top item on the stack, and then we'll mimic whatever the heck we were doing before. So style, yeah, we'll just mimic what we were doing before. So stack top, some sort of object is equal to top. If stack top is class control stack top theme is equal to theme. Else roots, which I can guarantee will always exist, will be equal to theme. I think that's okay. And here, what we need to do, let's do it here instead. Is we'll do stack add style. So we need to pass in the tag and then the themes default. And then this still has a bunch of to-dos still associated with it as well, which is tough. Okay, he's done it. He's done it. Hooray for refactoring. I'm absolutely dying. That's so tough, man. That's difficult. I really need to start adding tests. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow if I still don't have mainframe access. Oh, that's so tough. I need to check this also. So this is not nested Gdml. This is Gdml. These are nested correctly. That looks good. Nested Gdml. We'll run this one. That looks good. We'll run Pong. This looks good, probably. I mean, it's jank, but that's fine. That looks good. Just move the paddle all the way off the screen. And there we go. Ball is gone. Oh, baby. I think that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Git status. Git add all. Git commit. I should be putting these in different commits since there's so many things. But I guess this is fix stack logic. When adding things that aren't nodes to the stack, add more, or I get add nesting example. Add example for registering nodes. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so if you want to check out whatever the heck this is, like, I thought it was cool. There it is. I've also improved the README so it's not as sparse. It used to just be like a single line. And then a link to the Discord, which, by the way, you can find in chat. Oh, baby, there's a Discord. But yeah, I don't know. There's a very basic example with the entry points, and then the entry point, which is here, and then the actual XML file, which should just work. I did test it before I made all the big stack changes, but shouldn't be too complicated, I think. Let me see. What else do I need to do? I need to do one more thing, and then I can call this okay. Start removing the comments, by the way. I need to do like for a specific type of tag. It is pretty much only for Gdml. For any other type of tag, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so for only Gdml tags. So Gdml tags, I think what I want to do is like you can have like a loaded Gdml, if that makes sense. So in GUI, we'll do, I guess, like loaded Gdml dot XML or dot Gdml, why not? So this will be, I don't know, just like a label. It doesn't matter. It can be whatever you want it to be, right? So this is loaded Gdml, like that. And then for, I don't know, like one of these, we'll just place it here at the bottom of the VBox stack. So this will be Gdml source. We'll call this loaded Gdml.gdml. Have it just be a hanging tag. I think that's okay. It won't load in properly because how we're handling attributes doesn't take that into account, unfortunately. So it's only handle element that kind of takes that into account. So I do need to abstract this out as well, which is tough. So like source needs to be handled previously. Components? Yeah, we're getting into components. So I've already done the first part of components, by the way. Oh. What happened? Where? Oh, it's this thing. Let's take this out. Yeah, so I already have components, kind of. So this thing and this thing and this thing are technically components, but now I just need like the implicit components. So what I have right now, I've implemented explicit components because you need to manually register them, right? So technically, like, these things can come from anywhere else in the application. That's the cool part. Now, I guess the cooler part is that you can also have implicit components. So as long as you provide a relative and or absolute path, although, I mean, for this, you should be providing a relative path, but I'll accept both. It doesn't matter. You can provide an implicit component. So it will try to search inside the context path first, if it's a relative path, or it'll try to look for the absolute path, although that's, of course, always a bad idea. So loaded Gdml, it does not need to be explicitly registered. The program will just try to look for loaded Gdml based off of the context. So that's the last part. I've got explicit components. Now we need implicit components. And actually, you know what? The water is really catching up to me. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. So there's a lot of things that are in need of refactor. So like this one is 100%. To do this can be extracted and reused for implicit sources. I think. Yeah. So we try to find the temp instance. If it doesn't exist, then we try to find the regular instance. We try to find the tag. Yeah, so there's a... That's kind of tough. Yeah, I guess we'll just run through every single one of these. So this will also try to just load in the script. Yeah, so okay, so I think I do need to extract it like right now then. Okay, let's do this. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm ready. My body's ready. Ooh. This part. Oh baby. We're going to take this out and then we're going to place it into its own function here. So we'll call it like handle handle file path, maybe. Yeah, handle file path. Handle file path. So this requires, what does this require? It requires a context path, but we already have that since it won't be a static function, probably. Yeah, because we do need to, no, we don't need to check. So this could be static. The more static functions I have, the better I feel, because the less side effects I have. Yeah, so so path, some sort of string. So we'll have context path string, file path string. Yes. What else do we use? Bum bum. Yeah, and then that's pretty much it, right? File. And then the Gdml stuff is kind of whack, but that's okay. This will return an object, I guess. So file path, which is some sort of string, is equal to file path if file path is absolute path, else whatever the heck this is, context path file path. Oh, it's because of this. Okay. So object, and then we'll always return the object at the very end. Okay, so match file path get extension. So then this is pretty much all of these, except we don't want to return. Maybe we could just return early, that's fine. So most of this is good, except we do need the context path. And then this is file path. Yeah, otherwise we just explicitly return null. Yeah, okay, that sounds good, yeah. And then we don't do any additional processing, so we don't even need this, that's fine. So return null, we'll just return this, then return this. Beautiful. And then we can take out all of this stuff. So this is object is equal to handle file path. So this requires the context path and then the scene, right? So let's just make sure this still continues to work. All right, that looks good. Test Pong, make sure that still works. Okay, okay. I'm feeling good. We're feeling good. So we want to check for a registered. What should be the search order, I suppose? So if you provide a script, that should override everything. Yeah. If you provide a script inside of the current implementation, that should override everything else. So if you have like two things, because you're dumb, right? Not saying that you specifically, but like if you have something called built-in scripts and then like a built-in script, if you call this like built-in script No. If you have a test script GD defined in your current XML file, and then you also have a test script GD defined in your context path, I will try to use the test script GD that's defined in your current file first. Yes, that makes sense. So I'll try to use the temp instance, I'll try to use the persistent instance, and then number 3 is where it starts getting kind of spicy. So maybe I don't need script handler to handle it. Maybe I don't need the script handler to handle it. What does the script handler do? Why do I need this to handle the tag? Oh, this handles it from like the path. Oh, so I can actually change. I can 100% take this out. So we'll change this to be instance is equal to handle file path. So this takes in the context, and then the what did I do? Script name. It's the tag.source. Tag. Create script name from tag. What does create script name from tag give me? I remember the logic was kind of weird. Okay. Well, that's tough. Handle source attribute. So maybe not. Maybe I don't want to use the script name from tag because it's the source attributes. So source attribute. Wait a minute. This doesn't seem right. Handle source attribute. How does this work? Yeah, because it tries to use the name first, which is potentially wrong. But that's probably fine as well, question mark. So if it's a script, that's fine. Oh, I guess it's okay. I guess it's okay. I don't know. I need to think about this. I need more I need more documentation. I'm losing my mind. Oh, thank you, anonymous viewer, for the follow. So if instance is not null, then we'll do the pretty much all the same stuff, right? So, but at least with handle file path, then I can guarantee that this will be an actual object. Which might not be correct, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Handle file path. Maybe I don't want to completely instance it in right away. Okay, so I can have something called like should create. Yeah. Should create Boolean. So by default, we should create it. Yeah. So if should create, then we instance it. Otherwise, we just return the pack scene. So if should create else, just return the scripts, and then this one is, if it's a Gdml thing, we always want to just return it, I think. Maybe. Or actually, I guess we can just completely discard the object, right? Yeah, actually, I think we can just completely replace the object in that case. Yeah, okay, yeah. So object is equal to instance. Do I need to discard the object first so we can free it? Something like that? Does this work? Send me. So this is still okay. Pong is still okay. Now, we'll go to... there's loaded gdml.gdml. It's just a fantastic name. Where was it? Here. Send me. Okay. Non-existent function is class in base nil. So add GDML, generates, add GDML. So generates. That was probably from handle attributes, huh? So GDML might not be correct. So this is depth 3, location 36. This is the loaded GDML. Yeah. Okay. So maybe it did not get parsed correctly. Oh, because it's not actually... yeah, no, it is GDML. It's just a bit difficult, and I'm also not able to introspect on this because apparently it doesn't exist anymore. I don't know what happened to it. That's weird. Alright, send me. Boom, we can skip the first one. Then this should be the fancy one. What is my... please. Why are you like this? Why are you like this? Alright, send me again. Boom, boom. Then this one, tag 36, we have GDML, has nothing inside of it. That's fine. All right, now it's null. Okay, cool. And then we have an error. Oh, has it been broken this entire time? So take this out. No. These are still configured correctly, so it's only this one that's kind of messing stuff up. And then this, yeah, of course, this then breaks the rest of the stuff. So something gets broken. Something gets broken here. So skip the first one, jump into this one. Handle attributes. So this is the fancy one, blah, blah, has source, handle source attributes. Always handle this first. So we have the script name, which is loaded gdml.gdml. There is no instance. There will not be any instance now in handle file path. That's where this starts getting kind of spicy. So our file path is, yeah, the GUI, so everything GUI loaded GDML. I can verify that this actually exists there. Loaded gdml.gdml. Match. So then we run through this entire thing. So there's our GDML thing. So we can step into this. Boom, boom, boom. Parser. Layout. There's our layout. I didn't realize I'm still using the syntax here. I thought I stopped doing that, but okay. So we parse it. There's our generator. Then we generate it. So we can step into it if we want. I can also just look at the layout. So the layout, there's only one tag. It's a, yeah, it's a label that says loaded GDML. Yeah. So there's your output. Is the output good? Error is okay. Yeah. So this is loaded GDML, and then it should have one child. Return output. If instance is not null, maybe I shouldn't be freeing it. So So object is free. Yeah, so we free it. Then object is set equal to this new Gdml instance. Yeah. So error is not okay. Well, yeah. Then in attributes, handle the rest of it. It's already handled. Return error, no error. But then we lost the Gdml. That's weird. That's weird. Maybe if I just don't free it. Maybe if I just don't free it, I guess it'll work. We can take this out. Boom. Thank you for scanning my computer and using up all my RAM, Windows Defender. Much appreciated. Yeah, I guess this is okay. Send me. A few errors for sure. Unable to completely process arguments. Alright, so something got messed up with my stack. Unable to completely process arg. So what is the tag? What is the tag? Okay. So this is the hello button. Hello button. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So what does the stack look like? So we. Okay. So there's only 2 Gdml locations at this point in time, even though there should be. Wait. Oh, we didn't get to it yet. Hold on. What happens if I manually close this? Does this fix itself? Please don't. Oh my god, okay. But also it doesn't appear to be here. It doesn't appear to show up. So it looks like Gdml nodes do not close themselves properly, which is kind of annoying. I need to think about that. So if it didn't close itself properly, then yeah, that's a huge problem. But then loaded Gdml should also have loaded in just a label called loaded Gdml. Does this exist? I don't see it. Let me see. So I can give it an explicit name as well. So Gdml name. Loaded. Where are you at? Doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Or is it here? No, it is here, but it doesn't have the label attached to it. So like technically this should be valid, but maybe it's not. Maybe it just didn't load in because it's a single line and I'm crazy. No. That's tough. All right, so what if I do Gdml. So we force it to have more than one. Okay, maybe not. All right, so there's more to this than just missing tags, although I thought that was going to be it. So handle file path. I think this is okay. We can take this out. But this part is kind of tough. So if we are handling the file path, we actually want to replace the entire node. Yeah, we actually want to replace the entire node because of this. Especially if it's a... Yeah. Although that might not be true. I gotta think. Because clearly there's something wrong here. Let's do print instance get children. Are there no children on this node? No, there is a child on the node. It's called at 18 label 1514 or 1545, but then it just kind of gets yeeted for some reason. I'm not sure where it goes. So we can call this like Gdml name. So we'll call this loaded label with a space in it. Absolute sacrilege. Yeah, so like the label just kind of goes away. I'm not sure where it goes. It's weird. You can search it at top. Oh, can you? Is that how that works? Oh, okay, cool. Loaded. Oh, not this one. Yeah, no, I guess we lose the child. We lose the child. So maybe the way that I'm going about this is wrong. I gotta think. Well, this is tough. So if you want to load in a Gdml, thing in place, right? Like implicitly like this. There's already one error, so you cannot do this. That's wrong. This doesn't get parsed correctly. Or at least it inserts the ending tag incorrectly, which is very strange. Or maybe I've just never tried it before. I don't know. But then also, I'm not allowed to... Yeah, you're not allowed to like replace this object. You have to do it separately, which is kind of weird. Where is handle source attribute used? Because I do want to... This is the hard part about no tuples, man. Because I want to have the object in the error code, but instead I have to do it pass by reference and then just explicitly return an error code. Handle source attributes. And then everything is, yeah, everything is passed by reference still. I suppose what I could do... Isn't it seem worked out of the box? Like, since you're doing it all it's not actually doing it recursively. It's tail call optimized. So it runs linearly. Almost. Or at least the recursion... Yeah, actually, no, there is very little recursion. I think the The call stack depth only gets as high as 10, potentially. But it's not recursive anymore. I've actually changed that. So instead of only being able to go down to a depth of 1,000, I can go down to a depth of 1 million. Although I suppose the problem with that is that it also limits me to 1 million elements, whereas recursion, I can have as many elements as I want. But that's not a problem. Is you have to hoist and find the depths? Yeah, everything is already hoisted. The hoisting is not a problem. I think one of the problems is in the parser. So when I am doing this, or no, it's this. So I do have to sort the hanging open node indices and then insert close tags. The hoisting happens in the generator. Whenever I run into a Gdml tag, I hoist all the scripts, and then all the scripts tags are just stored on them. So I can set a breakpoint and demonstrate that it works, so that's not a problem. But those are that hoisting only happens for explicit script tags. So Gdml scripts, everything that's called a Gdml script gets hoisted. The source tags do not get hoisted because I process them at the same time, so. I guess actually the Gdml source attribute gets processed before all the other scripts get hoisted. So that's not a problem. No, the problem is that I'm not able to, well, one is that the close tags are not inserted correctly. I don't know why. I would need to step through this and see what the node stack looks after the insertion. But here, I gotta think. Like the easiest part would just be to, like, I need to replace this node. That's 100%, but I don't really know how to do that. I need to replace the current object because I always generate an object for you. I could just change all the children over. So I could do, it's not totally correct, but we can do for cin instance get children. Then it'll be instance remove child. C, and then we'll do object add child C, something like that. So I kind of just do it implicitly, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that works. You can't just, the hard part is that you need to, yeah, that works. Yeah, I can move them like that. It's kind of weird. That doesn't feel right to me though. Can I do yield get tree idle frame? I think that feels more correct. Is this a static function? Please don't. Get tree is not declared in the current class. Oh, that's good. I mean, that makes sense. We can do engine get main loop. Yield engine get main loop idle frame. So just wait for it to be yeeted. No, maybe not. Meant that move child? Well, I mean, it's like the same thing, isn't it? Move child. Actually, no, how does move child work? Isn't move child just moves it in the current scene tree, but none of these are actually in the tree just yet. Right, I construct them all and then I add them to the tree. Yeah, isn't like this moves it, yeah, among the other children, but these are completely separate. Right, this instance is just hanging. It has no relation to the other object, which is what is tough. I think this is okay. It's not totally correct. This is absolutely not great. But I guess it'll work. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. Structurally correct, it's good. Well, I think the problem here is that if I just have like a random script, so this will break, right? Test scripts, this will break. If I comment out this script, it's no longer registered. Actually, maybe not. What did test script do? Oh yeah, test script will break, right? Maybe not. Test script should have broken. Because test script was... Oh, because no, there's already a test script here, so we can take out this test script as well. Yeah, then it breaks, and then we're not able to actually connect it anymore. Because of how it works. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Because these get hoisted, sure. How does this work? That shouldn't have worked, I think. So create script name, and then we explicitly handle the tag. And then I cache them. And then they're actually ignored afterwards. I gotta think about this. Like this is maybe there should be like 2 ways of handling this. So if the tag is Gdml, then we'll handle it like this. But that's not entirely true either. Can you do nested components? It should work, right? Because that nested components actually works recursively, yes. Because we just make another call to Gdml generates. So it's not entirely it's not entirely recursive, but it's recursive enough. And it creates another instance of Gdml. And then it runs through the entire process over again. But it's not like strictly recursive in that it calls the same function over and over again. I need to think about this. Maybe just for Gdml. Just for Gdml, we'll do it this way. Otherwise, we'll try to do the script handler stuff. And then we should also do like instances and then copy over all the instances. Yeah, so if tag name is equal to constant Gdml, then we'll run through this stuff. Otherwise, one of these. That's kind of tough. Well, I guess that's just the difference between tags though, right? So Gdml tags, we need to handle them completely separately, unfortunately. So this is the best I got. And then we can also do object instances is equal to instances. Oh, I guess we don't need to duplicate it. We'll just do it like that. Yeah, so that's okay. There's our loaded Gdml. The only outstanding bug is the fact that this must be manually closed by itself, which seems kind of weird. I don't think that's totally true. Or I don't think that actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, yeah, so that breaks. So it's not based off of where it is, right? But then that's correct. Loaded Gdml, it kind of loads in on top of the other thing as well. It loads in on top of the other label, which is kind of bizarre. And I don't think that's correct. Yeah, there's something wrong with this tag. But it's close. It's close. That's close. So there's loaded, and then there's the loaded label. But then what happens if I drag this up here, above the label? So it should not display on top of it, but it is for whatever reason. Oh, because it's a Gdml. Why is it the labels are flickering sometimes? Oh, it's because they're updating every single frame. Yeah. Is that what you're talking about, this label here? The numbers that are counting up extremely rapidly? Yeah, it's because they're updating every single frame. Yeah. Those have a very basic, it's just, I update the label text to be delta. Sometimes it looks fine though. Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. I don't think that's my fault though. I don't think that's my fault. It looks like it's overlaps. It doesn't overlap. Almost guaranteed it's not. Almost certainly. Yeah, it's just because it's updating as fast as possible. Right, because it's in process. So I'm assuming that my frame rate is really, really high. What is my process? 16? Yeah, I mean, it's fast. I'm processing extremely fast. So it looks like it's flickering. That's not anything I can do, I guess, unless I underclock my CPU. Alright, let's set a breakpoint here. So anything that's hanging. So there is a hanging Gdml script. Oh, there is. Wait, no. Let's do this. So this should. We'll make this hang, and then we'll see what the problem is. Oh. It still says the Gdml thing is not hanging. Do I not store Gdml as... Interesting. Am I ignoring Gdml? Is that what happens? Or does it try to close itself too quickly? So count up makes sense. Count backwards, yeah. Text XML, yeah. 3 references, yeah. Gdml script, yeah. So there should be at least one hanging Gdml tag, but there isn't, and I'm not sure why. I guess I'll have to think about it. Because it's starting to get late. So to do this doesn't get processed as hanging. But yeah. I think I'm gonna hold on to it. Well, what has changed? Yeah, I'm gonna hold on to it for now. But thanks for tuning in. I'll be live tomorrow from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern time, working on this again, trying to, you know, get it all finished up and all that. I think it's pretty close to being, like, pretty sick. But yeah, give the channel a follow you in already. Stream Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, and on Wednesdays from 9 to 11 p.m. There is a Discord. There's an itch.io, etc., etc. Tests. I'll do tests eventually. I'll do tests whenever I feel like it, but this is in desperate need of tests. But I think it's also in desperate need of refactor, because I'm not a huge fan of this mega file for the generator. But I need to think about how to do it correctly. I don't think you need it. I think it does need tests, because you know, of course, the original intention for this, right, wasn't just to make a UI library. The intention was to make a UI library for this application, right? So if I don't have to fix stuff while I'm making this, that would be ideal. That would be ideal. But yeah, you know. Did I do all the... There's the GitHub, Discord, itch, etc., etc. You don't need every test, but you need to do basic tests when you need it. Yeah, well, I need the basic tests for like the reader, the stack logic, etc. I think the generator is a bit too big to be able to unit test effectively. I think parser is definitely unit testable because it's pretty short. Anything that's short is easy to unit test. And actually, most of these functions are also very unit testable as well. Yeah, because I have at least broken stuff up into smaller functions. But yeah, it's gonna be it for me for today. Goodbye.